The cyber criminals are highly organized. They operate from safe havens beyond the country's borders. They have VPNs, that's remote access, bulletproof hosting, end-to-end encryption that complicates lawful interception. So how can you and your money stay safe? Because projections indicate India could face up to 1 trillion cyber attacks annually by 2033, and 17 trillion by 2047. So what are long-term strategic investments in technology that we need to do, or international partnerships, public-private collaboration? What can you do to keep your money safe? We have both victims of cyber fraud, cybersecurity experts and police officers with us on this special broadcast. Joining me on India First is Sonam Shivhare. Sonam sadly lost her father to a cyber crime. Also with us is Vineet Kumar. He's DCP Cyber Security in Delhi Police. With us is also Jitin Jain. He's a cyber security expert. Pawan Duggal is a cyber law advocate and analyst. Sonam, I want to begin by asking you, Sonam, क्या हुआ था आपके पिताजी के साथ? उन्होंने अपनी जान आखिर जिस तरह से रिपोर्ट में आया है क्यों ले ली सोनम?
सर 20th को लास्ट मंथ 20th को उन्हें फर्स्ट कॉल आया था कि आपके नंबर से HDFC नंबर पे टेरर फंडिंग हुई है। 21 को उन्होंने क्राइम ब्रांच में लिखने के लिए एप्लीकेशन भी लिखा था, बट आई डोंट नो ड्यू टू सम रीजन वो सबमिट करने ही जा रहे थे। सेम टाइम पे उन्हें एक कॉल आता है, जैसा कि हमें उनके मुंशी ने बताया था, और तुरंत उन्होंने उनसे 1 घंटा बात की, और उसके बाद उन्होंने वो एप्लीकेशन सबमिट नहीं की जो कि वो क्राइम ब्रांच में सबमिट करने जा रहे थे। उसके बाद जब हमारे सामने फोन खुला तब हमने देखा 1-1 घंटे का वीडियो कॉल, 1-1 घंटे के वॉइस कॉल। फिर उन लोगों ने पापा को एक सिग्नल ऐप डाउनलोड करवाया था जिसमें पापा पूरी तरीके से ट्रैप थे। उनकी एक एक्टिविटीज ट्रैक हो रही थी। पता नहीं उन्होंने ऐसा क्या साइकोलॉजिकल मेरे फादर को मॉलेस्ट कर रखा था कि वो किसी से कुछ शेयर भी नहीं कर रहे थे।
और जबकि वो एडवोकेट थे, पढ़े लिखे वकील जो कानून जानते हैं,
जब डेफिनेटली वो अवेयर थे तभी उन्होंने एप्लीकेशन भी लिख रखी थी क्राइम ब्रांच में सबमिट करने के लिए। पर किस रीजन से सेम बस उन्होंने एप्लीकेशन उन्होंने अपने मुंशी से कहा कि मैं सबमिट करने जा रहा हूँ 21st को 1:40 पे, और उनको तुरंत एक कॉल होता है, मतलब उनका फोन भी रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, तभी उन्हें और उन्होंने 1 घंटा बात की उससे। उसके बाद उन्होंने वो एप्लीकेशन सबमिट ही नहीं की। ये हमें एप्लीकेशन मिली थी 25 को, जब पुलिस हमारे घर पापा के सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स चेक कर रही थी, तब हमें पता चला कि पापा ने तो एप्लीकेशन भी लिख रखी थी। मतलब ऐसा उन्होंने इतना पापा को मॉलेस्ट कर रखा था, इतना साइकोलॉजिकल ट्रैप कर रखा था कि वो किसी से कुछ डिस्कस ही नहीं कर रहे थे। वो अवेयर होते हुए भी वो कैसे ट्रैप्ड हो गए, वो लोग किस तरीके से काम करते, और आज पूरा 1 महीना हो गया है पुलिस की तरफ से कुछ भी मतलब।
और आपके पिताजी मतलब वकील थे, उनको डिजिटल अरेस्ट कर लिया था इन साइबर क्रिमिनल्स ने। कैसे कांटेक्ट किया या ये पता चल पाया है कौन थे वो लोग, कैसे उन्होंने पिताजी को डिजिटल अरेस्ट किया?
सर ये तो पुलिस का काम है ना, ये हम लोग कैसे कर सकते हैं। एंड टुडे इज दी 1 मंथ, लास्ट मंथ 24 को ये हुआ है, आज पूरा 1 महीना हो गया है, पर पुलिस पता नहीं कौन से स्टेटमेंट इकट्ठे कर रही है, क्या कर रही है, कि उन्होंने अभी तक उस केस में कुछ आगे किया ही नहीं है जो कि उन्हें करना चाहिए था।
Let me bring in our experts on this, Mr. Kumar, as DCP of Cyber Cell, would something like this have been preventable? He's an advocate, educated, knows the law, and yet falls victim to a digital arrest.
Yes, Gaurav. I believe this can be prevented, but only if people are aware of the modus operandi of cyber criminals. If they understand what is digital arrest, there is nothing like digital arrest in law of land. Police would not do something like this generally. If somebody is scaring someone on phone that he or she has been involved in terror funding, money laundering, then we'll have to take that with the pinch of salt. So I believe awareness would be the key for this. Only awareness can prevent something like this.
And that's exactly why on India Today, we're carrying out these exercises and routinely bringing out these stories for everyone to see. सोनम, आपके पिताजी को कहा गया, जिसने भी उनको फोन किया, कि पहलगाम में जो टेरर अटैक हुआ है उसकी फंडिंग उन्होंने की है. क्या, किसने क्या कहा, ये कुछ पता चल पाया है? वो मोबाइल नंबर जहां से फोन कॉल आते थे, किसने वो ऐप डाउनलोड कराया, कोई जानकारी क्या हुआ था? उन्होंने
जानकारी नहीं हुई है, बस पुलिस ने ये बताया कि वो नंबर शायद दिल्ली और असम के ट्रैक हुए हैं और अभी भी उनसे एक्टिविटीज चल रही है उस नंबर से, बट स्टिल उन लोग उस पे अभी तक उन लोगों ने जाके एक्शन नहीं लिया है. मतलब वो लोग क्या वेट कर रहे हैं? 1 महीना हो गया है. एटलीस्ट ये चीजें तो इमीडिएट बेस पे होनी चाहिए.
आपको कैसे पता चला कि उन्होंने कहा कि आपके पिताजी पर आरोप है कि उन्होंने पहलगाम टेरर फंडिंग की है? ये उन्होंने अपनी एप्लीकेशन में लिखा है क्या?
हाँ जी, उनकी एप्लीकेशन में लिखा है, जो कि मैं आपको शेयर भी कर सकती हूँ. उन्होंने
क्या लिखा उन्होंने? क्या, किस तरह से उन पर दबाव डाला गया?
उन पर दबाव डाला गया था कि आप मतलब एंटी टेररिस्ट हो, ये बोल के उन्हें मॉलेस्ट कर रहे थे. और मेरे फादर एक्चुअल में बहुत सोशल वर्कर थे, तो वो हमेशा से ही वो बहुत सोशली इन्वॉल्व थे, तो वो उस चीज़ को बेयर नहीं कर पा रहे थे कि वो लोग उन्हें एंटी टेररिस्ट बोल रहे हैं. उनको फेक एनआईए के सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अरेस्ट वारंट आए हैं और प्रॉपर्टी सीज के वारंट आए हैं मेरे फादर को. ये सारी चीजें. यस, जब फोन खुला तब हमें ये सब चीजें पता चली.
Mr. Ashok Kumar is former DGP of Uttarakhand. He's someone who's written extensively and dealt with cybercrime very extensively. Sir, wonderful having you on the show, but I want to understand from you, if somebody gets a phone call that says, I'm calling from the NIA or I'm calling from CBI or Enforcement Directorate or Customs and you're involved in this fraud, you funded Pahalgam terror attack or words to that effect and your property will be seized, what should an individual do?
Thanks, Gaurav. Firstly, let me tell you, these kind of cyber crimes happen because of fear, greed, or curiosity. So, if you have done nothing wrong, why do you fear? The most important thing is there is nothing like digital arrest at all. There is nothing like digital arrest. It is all a fraud, all a fake thing, all creation of criminals. No police will do a digital arrest with you. So, this awareness needs to be spread to everyone, that it is all fake. Nobody will send you the digital arrest warrant and you are arrested digitally. It is totally fake thing. This needs to be understood. And the most unfortunate thing is that even the lawyers, the police officers who should know everything about law, they also get trapped. That means there is something they are worrying about, they fear something. Otherwise, why, if you have done nothing wrong, let them, how can they connect with the terror funding of this thing, a terrorist attack? You have done nothing wrong. Be clear in your conscience. So, and you should realize that all these are cyber frauds. पहले drugs के नाम पे होता था. Now they have started taking the terror funding and all. So there is pure and pure cyber fraud.
Okay, Mr. Duggal, clearly this isn't an isolated case. What should Sonam's father, who was an advocate by profession, educated, knows the law, could he have done something differently? Because the number of cases are going up exponentially. It's almost like an explosion every year, the attempts that are being made every day now.
Well, as a lawyer, he would have been very much familiar with the legal frameworks. So first thing I would have expected him to have done is to disconnect. Now, he chose not to disconnect and chose, because of FOMO, fear of missing out, to continue the conversation was the reason why he landed up in this new spiral vortex. The fact remains is that as a lawyer, you know that law only requires arrest in the physical format. Even if the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has come in, it does not really authorize the use of technology for the purposes of arresting. So that's something that should have been there. But please remember, we are all talking about academic concepts. When it comes on to you, you lose your objectivity. You become subjective. You either believe that you are likely to lose something or you are likely to be facing consequences. So as a lawyer who was threatened with the fact that he could be connected with money laundering in terrorism cases on Pahalgam, that could have been one triggering factor while he would have continued this exercise. But I think we have to have a lesson learned from this. Number one, come what may, whatever happens, tomorrow morning there still will be a new day. The sun will still rise. Number two, come what may, the power of disconnection needs to be exercised like a brahmastra by every person. The moment you get a tinkling of the fact that somebody is trying to put you in fear or panic, or someone is trying to force you to do something in an urgent space of time when you don't want to do that, is an indication that this is not going right. The best is to disconnect. And even if you have lost some money, no problem. The important issue is you have to ask yourself, what exactly did I do wrong? And what I need to ensure I don't do again in order to avoid becoming victim of a cybercrime.
That's a
No
very
amount of
pertinent point.
cybercrime.
That's a very pertinent point to make. And Mr. Vineet Kumar, as DCP Cyber Cell Delhi, is that the Brahmastra every Indian must adopt? Disconnect moment you get such a call.
So absolutely, Gaurav, absolutely. I can't agree more. We should not be talking to these cyber fraudsters. The moment we realize that somebody is trying to scare us, we should disconnect. And also the fact that if something like this happens, if some kind of fear goes in the mind of the victim, then he or she can always report to the nearest police station, explain what is happening, talk to their friends and family members, and also they may just call on 1930, which is National Cyber Helpline. So,
1930.
Yes, I'll
also,
repeat it.
We're putting that out on your television screen also. 1930. If there is any cyber fraud, you suspect cyber fraud, give out that number, make that call, and disconnect. Am I right, sir?
Yes, Gaurav, very much. If these things are done, then I'm sure one will be able to prevent himself or herself from being the victim of cyber fraud.
Jitin Jain, often do we make the mistake of not contacting family members? So, this isn't an isolated case. There are other instances that we'll be referring to. Because I can't understand how a senior police officer or a senior IAS officer, I mean, IAS officers, you make policy for a country. How can you fall victim to cyber fraud? And it's happened. We've got a number of cases that we'll be talking about. Is the government doing enough to sensitize people? Get a call, disconnect. Why do people even engage, Jitin? You're on mute. Okay, unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, are you able to hear me now?
Strength 5, go on, sir.
Yeah, so Gaurav, we have had multiple debates on digital arrests and cyber frauds on India Today channel itself.
True.
There are 4 things we must now keep in mind. A, let's stop calling them cyber frauds because this has gone beyond frauds, beyond the money heist. This is now taking away lives. This is now getting into this modus operandi of these Chinese loan apps where students are committing suicide because they were unable to pay. Now you are seeing senior citizens who have paid money and are still committing suicides because of social stigma, because of the public image, their public image being targeted and destroyed in public. And so this is one. Two, I think the messaging, what you're saying, we have to make people aware. I slightly disagree because I think who do you want to make aware? The most aware are the now ones who are becoming victims. India Today journalists became a victim of digital fraud last year. I think we did a show on that with Rahul. You have seen senior sitting police officers, IPS officers falling prey to it. Retired DGPs. You have seen civil servants. You have seen now lawyers. So I think when it comes to their storytelling, I think their messaging is more powerful than your awareness messaging. The way they are able to manipulate a human mind, especially senior citizens, telling them that the loved ones are caught in some drug issue in a foreign country and they need to pay money immediately, or they have ordered some drug parcel, or their SIM card is being issued on their name, which is used for terror calling and terror communications, or their bank accounts are being used for terror financing.
So, fair enough. I know, but I think every instance needs to be brought out, Jitin. No, I think every instance needs to be brought out. Every instance. I mean, it's not that this won't do and that won't do. I disagree with you, but I want other instances. I want other instances out in public domain. Listen in to one more instance that's coming out. How a senior citizen lost his entire life saving. Listen in.
3 अक्टूबर को मेरे पास एक फ़ोन आया था। उस टाइम पे मेरा डायलिसिस चल रहा था, गुर्जर हॉस्पिटल में आया तो कि ऐसे आपके साथ में आपके आधार से वो सिम निकला है और उसमें 19 साल की लड़की थी और उसने आत्महत्या कर ली है। यहाँ तक कुछ ठीक है। बोला मेरी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, मैं बाद में करूँगा। तो जब मैं घर आ गया 1 बज के 28 मिनट पर फिर फ़ोन आया कि ऐसे ऐसे आपके साथ में एक मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग का केस और मतलब हुआ है। मिस्टर नरेश अग्रवाल जो जेट एयरवेज के जो चेयरमैन थे, तो उन्होंने ये कहा है कि मैंने इनको का 10% दिया है। 538 करोड़ का जो स्कैम था उसका 10% मैंने दिया है, और बाकी इनका एटीएम और चेकबुक मैं इनके मतलब यूज करता हूँ। तो उसके बाद उन्होंने कहा, एक सीबीआई अधिकारी मेरे सामने बैठा ड्रेस में और कहा कि भाई नेशनल सिक्योरिटी केस है, ये किसी को बताना नहीं है किसी भी हालत में करके। अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट की निगरानी में ये केस चल रहा है और नेशनल सिक्योरिटी केस है, तो इसलिए ना अपने बच्चों को बताना है, ना किसी रिश्तेदार को बताना है, और बस पत्नी आप यहीं रहेंगे करके, और किसी को बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। मैं तो 24 घंटे इनके सामने ही बैठा रहता था, हमेशा यहीं बैठा रहता था। अगर मैं बाथरूम भी जाता था, जब बगल में एक बाथरूम है, तो बाथरूम के लिए भी कहेंगे जाना कि सर मैं ज़रा बाथरूम में जा रहा हूँ, और वहाँ अगर बाथरूम में थोड़ा लेट हो जाता तो आगे मुझे हड़काता था।
So, Mr. Vineet Kumar, this gentleman is a retired engineer by profession. He's now having to borrow money even to have dialysis done. And yet, somebody called him up and said that there's money laundering, you're allegedly involved in it, you'll be arrested, or you give us this kind of money. For the life of me, I can't understand why would somebody fall victim to such kind of phone calls. Can you explain that, sir?
See, Gaurav, look at what he said. Look closely, listen to what the victim says. He's saying that they have isolated him, literally in the sense that he should not be talking to anyone about it. This is the typical modus operandi where one would not come to know what is happening to him. If he's keeping, the victim is keeping everything to himself. So this is how they build this web of deceit and fraud. Victim will not be able to talk to anyone, he'll not be able to understand. So he's only being fed the element of fear in his mind. So that is how he would be acting something like this.
No, but then what should somebody do? Keep in touch with members of your family, Mr. Ashok Kumar, because often children are not staying with elderly parents, and elderly parents, they fear the worst. They fear the worst. Communication with loved ones is very less. And often, elderly don't even listen to their children. I know of an instance where, the son told the father, this is fraud, don't fall for it, and yet the old man fell for it. What would you make of these instances, sir?
Firstly, I would say that the country needs to know that there is nothing like digital arrest. Digital arrest is a total fake drama. The whole country, if they know, they will cut the phone immediately. They are telling you that you are arrested digitally. I am sitting a police officer, CBI officer, ED officer. That's what they are doing. So if you know that there is nothing like this in law, no ED, no CBI, no police, no NIA is going to arrest you at home like this digitally. So we need to cut the phone. As Pawan Duggalji said, we can even do it in between. If you lost some money, 10 lakh, 5 lakh, 10,000, 50 lakhs, in between also you can cut it off and get out of it. It is total fake. Then you should talk to your family, you should talk to your friends, you should talk to the police. That is what needs to be done. Why are you so much worried? It is some kind of fear that is inside you, that you get trapped, you get hypnotized, you get worried. So this is the thing that is required. That
Is it also greed? Is it also greed in some instances, where people promise you double the money? But I'll come to that instance, in a moment. Jitin, you were nodding, you were disagreeing with Mr. Ashok Kumar on disconnecting instantly. What part of it are you disagreeing with, sir?
No, I am not disagreeing, Gaurav. These are all good gyans we should give. I think we are all becoming part of the Delhi debates. We are not understanding that by giving these, things which are not working, we are further victimizing the prospective victims. I think we should look what we can do to, kill the solution at the very bottom. It's a problem at the very bottom itself. And for that, there is only one solution. The nucleus of this entire modus operandi is fraud for money. And the money is not being snatched away on the broad daylight by taking away cash or doing some robbery. It is transferred digitally in a bank account in a conventional banking ecosystem. How can money disappear? And that is where I think we have to figure out that instead of giving this sermons to WhatsApp that aapke bina SIM ke WhatsApp nahi chalna chahiye so that fraud will become less, this is all crap. crappy ideas just to satisfy some public opinion. What you should do, that every bank account has to have a biometric KYC. Every cash withdrawal beyond a certain amount has to have a physical biometric verification. You freeze the money from cash withdrawal, you freeze the money in banking ecosystem, everything will fall into place. How can there be a situation where 5,000 bank accounts are being used as mule accounts without any KYC? You ask WhatsApp to have a SIM in the mobile phone, before, otherwise WhatsApp web will not work. But you don't want a bank manager to check the physical biometric KYC when millions
That's
are
a
being
very
withdrawn in the
pertinent
banks.
point, Mr. Duggal. That's a very pertinent point because when money is transferred from one account to the other, and then the police said that's just a mule account, and from there it goes to 30 other accounts which may be on Phone Pay or Paytm, and then it's instantly withdrawn. It would show a very wide network. How can that be checked?
The Reserve Bank of India can play a pioneering role in this regard. If you are able to tighten the noose on the banks, make them responsible that the moment unauthorized payment goes from one account to the other, the bank will be liable and will be liable to pay the money back. It only will be an extension of the RBI notification of 6th of July 2017, which talked of a zero liability for customers. Here also, and digital arrest, we are landing up losing a lot of money. In my book, the recent book that's come online, Frauds and Law, I've argued that if the RBI can actually take a very strong stand, then we will be able to cover a big chunk of this monies recovered back. Why? Because almost all digital arrest matters, money goes via the banking channel. The bank cannot be allowed to say, hey guys, I'm a spectator, I don't know what happens. Sorry, it's your mule account, you have to be responsible.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you and Jitin on this one. Banks cannot say...
One last point. Not the bank.
As long as the language is civil, Jitin, that's my only request.
No,
it's a family
the
channel.
Bank which receives
Just keep the language civil. Yes.
No, I'm saying the bank, not the bank which sends the money, but the bank which receives the money should be held responsible. Because they are the ones who have not done the KYC properly. They are the ones from the money disappears with the collusion of some banking employees.
And let me bring in Mr. Ashok Kumar. That's a very pertinent point that is being made. While we put the entire onus on the victim, and yes, the victims have to be smarter, there are no two ways about it. But what about the banking system? In the instance that I dealt with personally in one instance, how could the bank let the money go? The bank manager, should be held accountable. Should they not be held accountable, sir? Mr. Ashok Kumar. You're on mute, sir.
Yes, you are very much right. They should be held accountable because banks and telecom sector both have a major role to play. RBI brought tight guidelines. After that, the government banks have done little better, but private banks still, continue with their old ways. So they need to be tightened, and our investigation agencies need to arrest them also, fix their responsibility. Same is the case with telecom sector. Telecom sector can identify easily all these calls, the fraud calls, fake calls. Nowadays they are sending messages also, spam calls. So both these sectors, banking and telecom, they need to, in the name of doing big business, they are just ignoring all these things.
Absolutely. Arrest two bank managers, Mr. Vineet Kumar. Next time this happens in an account with a senior citizen, when money is transferred, unless of course the senior citizen himself is giving the OTP and getting that money out, then perhaps the bank can say not our responsibility. But what about the receiving bank? How quickly this transaction goes. I want to understand from you the challenges that you face, Mr. Kumar.
Gaurav, let me add something from what Jitin said. I'll slightly disagree with that because I'll come to your question slightly later. Let me clarify that what you said about having WhatsApp number and genuine SIM in that. So if you are not having genuine SIM in your phone and yet you are using WhatsApp, then the government of India has planned to stop this thing which is going on for long. So I believe that is something which has to be done because what we see in our experience is people have been using WhatsApp for both investment as well as digital fraud because victims are being contacted on video calls. They are being scared on video calls by having a so-called police office or a court of law, something like that. So, and the SIM is found to be in India. But whereas the WhatsApp has been activated and is being used from outside India, from some other country. So we are not able to catch. So that is how we should be having this SIM. The WhatsApp should not, or for that matter, any social media should not run without SIM being in the phone. And second thing which Mr. Duggal talked about, liability of the banks, I absolutely agree. There have been instances where banks have been they have not done their KYC up to the mark.
Yes.
And so that the criminals are able to get away. And money moving very fast is also a question which has to be looked into, because some kind of due diligence has to be done. Otherwise, funds will keep on moving from one layer to another, and it would be really difficult for police to check that kind of movement. So that can only be done by the banks, and bank has to, one day or the other, bank will have to take this responsibility.
Okay. There are other instances that we have. Before I come to more case studies, I want you to take a look at this case study.
23 जून को दोपहर में हमको कॉल आया टेलीकॉम अथॉरिटी डिपार्टमेंट से कि आपका सिम कार्ड बंद कर दिया जाएगा 2 घंटे के बाद में। हमने पूछा कि भाई क्यों बंद करेंगे, तो आपने बॉम्बे में डॉक्टर राधा मोहन प्रसाद के नाम से एक सिम लिया है। हम लोगों ने कहा कि नहीं, हम पटना के रहने वाले हैं तो वहाँ क्यों लेंगे, तो कहा कि नहीं है, और आपका बॉम्बे थाना में FIR लॉज है आपके नाम से, और जेट एयरवेज वाले नरेश गोयल से आपका रिलेशन है, मतलब कि उन्हीं से आपको पैसा मिला है, और आपने कैनरा बैंक मुंबई में एक अकाउंट खोल रखा है। हम उसके बाद में उसने मेरे फ़ोन को सर्विलांस पे रख दिया और व्हाट्सएप पर वीडियो कॉल करता था 3-4 आदमी, और सुबह करीब शाम से जो हम लोगों को ऑन कराया फ़ोन, वो 24 घंटा ऑन रहता था। इवन रात में भी ऑन करके रखने के लिए कहता था। अगर बंद हो जाए रात में तो कहे फ़ोन क्यों काट दिया है आपने, तो हम लोग देखे कि फ़ोन का चार्ज ख़त्म हो गया, तो कहा फ़ोन चार्ज कीजिए। फ़ोन को चार्ज में लगा देते थे। सब कुछ वो सुबह शाम दोनों गुड नाइट गुड मॉर्निंग हर चीज़ का माने हम लोगों को ये कर रहा था। और हम लोग को बाद में कहे कि आप अच्छे हैं ना, हाँ तो ठीक है, आप किसी को ये बात कहिएगा नहीं, अपने बेटा से भी नहीं तो उसको पनिशमेंट होगा। अभी तो आप घर पर हैं, नहीं तो जेल की हवा आपको खानी पड़ेगी। तो संडे को हम गए 25 तारीख को, तो उस दिन हमसे उसने करीब 80 लाख रुपया जमा करवाया।
Mr. Kumar, highly educated doctors, both husband and wife are doctors, in a very well-to-do environment, and they lost crores to this digital arrest. What would one say to a situation like this, Mr. Kumar?
Again, Gaurav, the same thing. That I'll add one more thing here. Apart from being aware, and if something like this happens, reporting to local police, the nearest police station, because the local police would know about this modus operandi. They exploit this particular fact that the fraudsters deliberately say that you should not be discussing about all these things with anyone, otherwise they'll be arrested. This is the way of dissuading them from discussing the matter at hand with someone who could actually spill the bin, and the fraud would stop at its track. So one more thing could be done is, like, as the Honorable Prime Minister says about cyber frauds, that ruko, socho or fir action lo. We should stop, think, and then take action. So the moment we get a call, something like this happens, we get a call of that your Aadhaar number or your bank account or your phone number is linked to terror funding, money laundering. So we should stop and think deeply about it, rather than getting overawed with the strategies or the techniques employed by the fraudsters, and then take action. So I think one will be able to save himself or herself from this.
Okay. Mr. Ashok Kumar, I want to for a moment refer to that case that we referred to in the beginning of this broadcast of a top former IPS officer in Punjab. An officer of the rank of Inspector General of Police, and that of course is different from digital arrest. That's a case of Is it cyber fraud? Is it getting duped online? Is it a Ponzi scheme that you fall victim to? You know, because police deal with crime every day. How can a police officer fall victim to this, in your view?
Again, it is very surprising for me also. How can an IG rank officer not understand the games of being played by these cyber fraudsters? And I don't know why there is some kind of fear in such mind that if they are doing something, maybe they fear like something wrong they are doing. That's why they get trapped. But still, as a police officer, he should have known that there is nothing like this. He has done. If you have done nothing wrong, then what can they do? What the criminals can do? When we are responding to them, only then they make money. Only then they bring you under fear. You know, we need not respond to them. This police officer should have known that. So I'm very surprised.
He kept putting in more money, perhaps expecting better returns, Mr. Duggal. And there are instances of former top IAS officers, IPS officers, technocrats. You know, there is no concept of digital arrest. Everybody knows that. But even these Ponzi schemes that may come, will double your money, will triple your money. Is that greed that makes people fall victim to this? That, you know, invest more to get more returns? And when people ask you for your OTP, as a rule, shouldn't you not share OTP with anyone?
Well, I think, Gaurav, post-COVID-19, two elements have become an integral part of our lives. One is fear, and the other one is panic. And both of them have resulted in people getting more greedy. Consequently, they are all falling to these kinds of Ponzi schemes. I recently did a case of another gentleman who lost his entire life savings running into crores of rupees because he was being promised 16% per week return as compared to a 7 or 8% in FDR. And consequently, he liquidated all his FDRs and mutual funds and put them in these Ponzi schemes only to lose them over. I think the message is loud and clear. We will have to be suspicious of everything that we see till such time we don't independently authenticate the veracity or the correctness of the same. And number two, we need to be stingy about how we share our information. And information needs to be shared on a need-to-know basis only. That's the only way going forward. Otherwise, we'll continue to start getting duped by these new innovative kinds of cyber frauds and cyber crimes.
And it becomes very difficult to detect them, Jitin, also because a lot of these cyber criminals are transnational, operating from beyond the country's borders, using encrypted end-to-end systems. Take, for example, that case in Varanasi where a former senior IAS officer lost lakhs, close to 50 lakhs, somebody pretending to be a CBI officer called. Then there was this instance of a former ONGC employee in Kolkata who was kept under digital arrest, lost 99 lakhs. So, you know, how does one ensure that you don't fall victim to this?
Gaurav, only one thing will work, which is stringent telecom and banking KYC. I'm speaking about this from last 2 years, and I'll tell you why I oppose this WhatsApp being linked to same thing. Let's assume you have done it for entire population. One, tell me how many number of cases of SIM swap frauds in India today, and how many have them been solved. So suppose if somebody does a SIM swap fraud with Gaurav Sawant, right now, at least you have access to your WhatsApp to receive OTPs and inform your friends. With this, what will happen? Within an hour, somebody else will be able to access all the OTPs of your email accounts and social media accounts also, because all of them are now sending OTPs on WhatsApp. All major social media companies and telecom companies are now shifting away from sending SMS-based OTPs to either two-factor on the app or WhatsApp. There is a reason. So if the world is shifting, we are going, backwards. It will create a bigger problem for everyone. I'm not against surveillance. I understand that we need to pinpoint where a particular SIM is being operated upon. But there is a way to do it. Suppose if somebody gets reported on WhatsApp, if some number is reported, then you carry out a physical KYC check. That is okay. But if you randomly give a blanket order, I mean, you're trying to do something good, but in that, the way you're doing it, you create much more bigger problems and a much more bigger ecosystem available for fraud for the fraudsters. This is my opposition today. Now, second, telecom operators and TRAI. These are white elephants you must now take to account. Tell me, there is this policy that all these big companies, banks, and everyone will be having this 1600 number to be used for all customer care calls. Right now in your studio, you call up Airtel or Vodafone. All the callbacks come from again random numbers which are landline numbers, and half of them you can't even call back. So if you do not find the telecom operator itself which is supposed to implement this security rules, then how do you expect people to get take all this sorry to say the word gyan and implement and protect themselves?
Okay, Mr. Kumar, I want to quickly bring you in on the aspect on banks. When banks release money, wouldn't the banks also have to know where this money is going? Should we ensure that per OTP only X amount of money can be released, so that even if there's a fraud, it is X amount and not more than X amount? Would we have to put more systems in place?
Yes, Gaurav, I believe banks need to do better due diligence. When they are, suddenly there is a lot of influx of funds in newly opened account, which would not have any history of major transactions before, banks should be alerted again. And then when the speed with which money comes, and the same thing happens when the money goes out. So bank just cannot wash his hands and say that nothing could be done. I think if banks are able to do proper due diligence, money can be stopped in the tracks.
Okay, I have the last 2 minutes on this part of the show. Tell me 3 steps that you want Indians to take in 2026 to keep their money safe. Mr. Kumar, I begin with you. 3 steps that every Indian must take.
I'll go by what Honorable Prime Minister says. Stop, think, and then take action.
Okay, stop, think, then take action. Don't take action in a hurry. Mr. Duggal, 3 steps.
First step, let's learn to be conjuice and be extremely stingy with sharing our information. Number 2, please, the moment anything, fear or panic comes in any conversation, disconnect. And finally, adopt cybersecurity as a way of life. That's the only way that's going to save you in the coming times.
Okay, Jitin, 3 steps, quickly.
First, put a limit of online banking on your bank account so that under duress also you're not able to make any changes and transfer money. Second, let's as a society cultivate this habit of not giving our personal mobile numbers and email IDs on shopping mall shops for bills. This is where the data gets leaked. Third, any suspense or suspicion, call police. There is no harm in calling and seeking advice, even if the call turns out to be genuine. Call them and verify. And always call back the number who's calling you from. Just do not receive on the incoming call.
Fair enough. Sonam, आपके हिसाब से 3 कदम जो उठाने चाहिए और पुलिस को भी बिल्कुल अभी.
सर, सबसे पहले तो पुलिस को तुरंत एक्शन लेना चाहिए. सबसे पहले डेफिनेटली सब हमारे केस में तो यही कहेंगे. हमारा तो मतलब मनी से भी ज्यादा लॉस हुआ है, विच कैन नॉट बी रिकवर्ड डेफिनेटली. तो पुलिस तुरंत इस चीज पे एक्शन ले. साइबर क्राइम मतलब साइबर सेल में फोन जा रहे हैं, वो बताते हैं कि 2-2, 3-3 महीने का वेटिंग होता है. दैट कुड बी मतलब दैट शुड बी ऑन द मतलब इन बिल्कुल इनिशिएट लेवल पे इसका एक्शन होना चाहिए. और डेफिनेटली जो लोग ये कर रहे हैं, हमें तुरंत से तुरंत उन लोगों को मतलब पकड़ना चाहिए ताकि फ्यूचर में ये चीजें ना हो, कोई किसी का लॉस ना हो.
ठीक. Mr. Kumar, you want to quickly respond? How can things be speeded up for victims so that they get access to justice quickly, sir?
My 3 steps are: firstly, what, why, when, where, how. These questions everyone should put on any such call. क्यों आ रही है, कहाँ से आ रही है, किस लिए आ रही है, what can be done, etc. So we need to be inquisitive. Secondly, we need to increase the cyber capacity of police, all the state police, because they are overloaded, and that's why they don't attend to many of these cases. And thirdly, we need to tighten the grip on banking and telecom sector to the extent of criminal liability. That is the only solution. Otherwise, this will keep on increasing.
Very, very pertinent points made on this broadcast, and I want to thank all our guests for joining me here on this India Today special broadcast. Remember, the first step starts with you. You need to take steps as an individual. Ensure you don't give out your OTPs unless you've verified who you're giving out your OTPs to. In case anyone says that it's a cyber arrest or words to that effect, disconnect that call immediately. put certain restrictions on the kind of fund flow from your account, and keep in touch with your family, your bank, and the police. The moment you suspect something wrong, reach out to the police, reach out to a lawyer, reach out to your friends, reach out to the bank instantly. And for the government needs to do a lot more to ensure the citizens are safer from these cyber frauds. Whether it's the banks or the Telecom Regulatory Authority, regulate more to ensure we are safe from transnational cybercrime.